Sebelumnya, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Let me introduce myself. My name is Asar Putra Venesian and my number NPM is 264111044. Good morning. My name is Asar and today I will be presenting on the topic of market mechanism and price equilibrium as part of our macroeconomic education. This presenting will walk you through how market work, how prices are formed, and what happens when supply and demand are out of balance. Let's get started. What is market in economics? Let's begin with a very basic but important question. What exactly is a market? In economics, a market is defined as a place, whether physical or digital, where seller and buyer meet to exchange goods and services. It doesn't have to be a traditional marketplace like the one you see in the picture here, with vendors selling fruit and vegetables. A market can also be an online marketplace where transactions happen digitally without buyer and seller ever meeting face to face. The main function of a market is to determine two things: the price of goods and the quantity of goods that are traded. This happens through what we call the mechanism of supply and demand, and that mechanism is really the heart of today's presentation. So, to summarize the slide, market can be physical or digital. But in both cases, their core function is the same, bringing buyer and seller together so that price and quantity can be determined. 3. Law of demand and demand curve. Now let's talk about the demand side of the market. The law of demand. There is a negative relationship between price and quantity demanded. In simple terms, when the price of a good rises, the quantity demand falls, and conversely, when the price falls, the quantity demand rises. This relationship can be shown visually using a demand curve. If we plot price on the vertical axis labeled P and quantity on the horizontal axis labeled Q, the demand curve slopes downward from the upper left to the lower right. This downward slope is the graphical representation of the law of demand. Let's look at real world example to make this cleaner. Think about rice. When the price of rice increases, consumers naturally respond by reducing their purchase or looking for cheaper alternatives, such as other grains. This is a very practical illustration of the law of demand in action. As price goes up, the quantity people are willing to buy goes down. Next, law and supply curve. Now that we understand demand, let's move to the other side of the market, supply. The law of supply describes a positive relationship between price and quantity supplied. This means that when the price of a rice, producers are willing to supply more of it, and when the price falls, the quantity supplied also falls. This is shown through the supply curve, which slopes upward from the lower left to the upper right, the opposite direction of the demand curve. This upward slope reflects the positive relationship between price and quantity. But supply doesn't only depend on price. There are several supply factors that can influence how much producers are willing and able to supply. These include production, cost, technology, tax, and subsidy, and weather conditions. Any change in this factor can cause the entire supply curve to shift, not just move along the curve. We'll come back to this idea shortly. Next factor that shapes the demand and supply curve. Before we talk about equilibrium, it's important to understand what causes the curve to shift. Not just move along the same line, but shift internally to a new position. For the demand curve, the main shifting factors are income. As consumers earn more, they may demand more goods. Consumer tastes and expectations change in preference or expectation about the future can increase or decrease demand. Price and related goods such as substitution or compromise. For the supply curve, the shifting factor include production cost and technology. Cheaper or more efficient production increase supply. Tax subsidy and whether this directly affect how much producer can or want to supply. And intrinsically, price of related goods can affect both curves depending on the context. Understanding this shifting factor is essential because in the real world, price doesn't just move along a fixed curve. The curve itself can shift due to external conditions. Next, market equilibrium point. Now we arrive at one of the most important concepts in this presentation, market equilibrium. Market equilibrium occurs at the exact point where the demand curve and the supply curve intersect. At this point, two key values are determined. First, the equilibrium price, often written as P star. This is the price at which the quantity demand exactly equals the quantity supplied. Second, the equilibrium quantity or Q. This is the amount of goods that are actually traded at that equilibrium price. But what happens when the market is not at equilibrium point? Two situations can occur. If the price above the equilibrium price, we get a surplus, meaning there is excess supply. Producers are supplying more than consumers want to buy. If the price below the equilibrium price, we get a short state, meaning there isn't enough supply to meet demand. In both cases, the market naturally pushes the price back toward equilibrium. That really the beauty of the price mechanism is itself correct over time.
Hai teman-teman, apakah kamu tahu apa itu pasar? Nah, kira-kira ketika mendengar kata pasar, apa sih yang ada di pikiran kamu? Apakah kamu langsung membayangkan tentang menawar barang atau membandingkan harga di tempat lain? Nah, daripada kelamaan, kita bahas satu persatu yuk. Pasar, sebagaimana kamu sering mendengar, melihat dan bahkan mengunjunginya, pasar adalah tempat bertemunya antara penjual dan pembeli untuk melakukan transaksi jual beli barang atau jasa, baik di pasar tradisional maupun pasar modern. Kita pergi ke pasar samping rumahku ini ya. Apakah kamu lihat? Itu ada pembeli dan penjual yang sedang melakukan kegiatan tawar-menawar. Oh iya, setelah kamu menonton video sebelumnya, kamu pasti mengingat dua kata yang selalu berdampingan kan? Iya, permintaan dan penawaran. Kalau kamu sedang membeli sesuatu, pasti ingin mendapatkan harga yang rendah bukan? Iya, ketika posisi kamu sebagai pembeli atau bisa disebut sebagai permintaan, kamu tentu saja akan menawar dengan harga yang rendah untuk jumlah tertentu. Sekarang, coba deh posisikan kamu sebagai penjual. Tentu, kamu akan menawarkan harga barang yang tinggi kan? Nah, itu bisa disebut penawaran. Ayo temani aku membeli buah di seberang sana yuk. Wah, ternyata pamanku sendiri yang jual buah-buahan itu. Sekarang, posisi aku sebagai pembeli nih. Aku menginginkan harga apel 20.000 per kilogramnya ya. Sedangkan pamanku sebagai penjual menginginkan harga 24.000 per kilogramnya. Setelah proses tawar-menawar, kami sepakat untuk harga per kilogram apelnya menjadi 22.000. Nah, harga kesepakatan pembeli dan penjual inilah yang disebut dengan harga keseimbangan atau harga pasar. Perlu kamu ingat, kamu bisa menyebut harga keseimbangan ini hanya saat jumlah barang yang diminta sama dengan jumlah barang yang ditawarkan pada tingkat harga dan waktu tertentu. Tidak lebih dan tidak kurang seperti ini. Jika harga ada di bawah harga keseimbangan, maka akan terjadi kelebihan permintaan karena permintaan akan meningkat akibat harga yang rendah dan kemudian penawaran akan menurun. Nah, jika harga pasar melebihi harga keseimbangan, maka akan terjadi kelebihan penawaran, sehingga konsumen enggan membeli atau jumlah permintaan di sini menurun. Apabila dalam kondisi keseimbangan pasar, kuantitas permintaan atau QD akan sama dengan kuantitas penawaran atau QS. Harga yang diminta atau PD pun akan sama dengan harga yang ditawarkan atau PS. Sehingga terbentuk harga keseimbangan atau PE. Jika kamu melihatnya dari kurva ini, maka akan terjadi titik potong antara kurva permintaan dan kurva penawaran. Titik potong inilah yang disebut harga keseimbangan atau titik equilibrium. Setelah kamu belajar mengenai terbentuknya keseimbangan harga pasar, tentu kamu mengerti apa sih tujuan dibentuknya harga keseimbangan pasar ini? Iya, keseimbangan harga dan permintaan selalu diupayakan agar tidak ada pihak-pihak yang merasa dirugikan. Pembeli dapat membeli barang dengan wajar dan penjual atau produsen tetap mendapatkan untung dari apa yang dibuat. Nah, itu tadi bagaimana terbentuknya keseimbangan harga pasar. Semoga bermanfaat ya. Sampai jumpa di pembelajaran asyik lainnya. Dadah.
Next case study, chili price and supply shortage. To make this more concise, let's look at a real case study chili price during a supply shortage. Here is how it unfolds step by step. First, during the dry season, the supply of chili dropped drastically. Farmers simply cannot produce as much chili as usual because of the lack of rainfall. Second, because supply falls, the supply curve shifts to the left. This represents a reduction in the quantity of chili available at every price level. Third, as a result of the leftward shift, chili price rise significantly in the market. Since chili is still in demand, but there is no much less of it available. Consumers are competing for a smaller supply, and that pushes price upward. This case study is a perfect real-world example of how a shift in supply causes because an internal factor like weather leads directly to change in market price, exactly as our theory predicts. Next, impact and surplus and shortage in the market. Let's now compare these two conditions, surplus and shortage, a little more closely since understanding but is key to understanding how market self-adjusts. In a surplus or excess supply situation, supply is greater than demand. As a result, prices fall, stock piles up, and producers might end up losing money because they cannot sell everything they produce. In a shortage or scarcity of goods, the opposite happens. Demand is greater than supply. This causes decrease to rise, goods become scarce, and we often see buyers having to quit or compete for limited stock. If we compare the two conditions side by side, in a surplus, price go down and goods are abundant. In a shortage, price go up and goods are scarce. The equilibrium point, sitting right between these two extremes, represents the ideal market condition, where supply and demand are perfectly balanced and neither surplus nor scarce exist. And this brings us to the end of my presentation. Thank you very much for your attention, and I'm happy to take any question you may have. Thank you. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.